That's what James will be talking about. I'm going to mention this salad a little bit that I made. It's another one of the Hallo-week leftovers meals. And James has decided he wants this cheese that was from this package, but he didn't want the corn yet. But the sauce for the salad is the sauce from the Tortilla Pockets kit, because James hadn't eaten that yet. I'm going to talk about Hitman, which got top of the stack against Grace and Frankie. I think that was season 1. Yep. Damn Yankees and fancy pants.
Is that Damn Yankees thing an old-fashioned thing?
Yes. Have you seen it?
No, I've heard about it. Maybe it's from the 50s. The Yankees seem to win the World Series every year back in the 50s. Didn't do it this year, though. Got blown away by the Los Angeles Dodgers. But was it a musical in the Damn Yankees?
Yes.
There we go. And anyone that we know in it? Or that I might know?
The woman from, what was her name? All in the Family. The one, the day when she was singing.
Okay, she was
in it.
Yeah, I'll think of it. But it's definitely not Carol O'Connor, because that's the name of the guy.
What her name was.
Yeah, she's a good actor. And so was Carol O'Connor, too. Meathead wasn't that good. Sally Struthers a little over the top, but generally a strong cast, you know. I think it was based on a British sitcom.
So I put quite a lot of cheese on there, and what I did is I put the lettuce on the bottom, and then I put I'd fried up the onions and pumpkin in some coconut oil, and I put that on top, so the lettuce will be wilted down a little bit, but whatever. It was
so
lettuce.
You fried up the pumpkin. Did you do that with a salad yesterday? Do you remember?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm telling you, fried pumpkin with salad, like just a regular lettuce salad or something like that. And there was some cilantro there, but I'm not a big fan of cilantro.
No,
but the fried pumpkin works like a marvel. It was that salad went down.
Yeah.
Really quite easy.
This salad's better than yesterday's salad. I had a little more time.
There's more on it, more of the fancy stuff. But there were a few peppers on it. Of course, I shared a little bit of the pepper with the dogs and stuff like that.
But then I put the cheese mixture. I put quite a lot of it, on top of the pumpkin so that it would melt in there. So it's going to be good and melty when James gets to it. So you might see some strings coming up. I'm hoping. But and then I put the rest of the stuff, cilantro and whatever. So anyway, I'll talk about this because
I didn't have you put the corn on there because I was just afraid it would be landsliding.
Yeah, so the next salad you might have it.
Dusting of cheese would fit okay, and I knew correctly.
And next time you might want to have the dressing from this too. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I want to save that because we've got a lot of salads coming up.
Yeah, we do. Because I went to the grocery store. And, I'd ask my angels for salad and bag because I want to be doing art right now and I want to eat healthy. But I also, when I'm doing art, I tend to eat instant because I get really busy with the art. And I don't know, James and I have talked about this before, how when you're doing some sort of art, you get into it and time goes. You don't even notice hours pass. You're somehow doing whatever and you lose yourself.
That's the way I was writing poetry. That's the way I am when I do research. You just lose track of time. I can't understand people who are bored. If you're bored at a particular place, bring a book along or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I tend to do that, and then I'll be like, oh, I have to eat something, and so I'll want to eat something quickly, right, and then get back to it or whatever. So salad in a bag, it's a pretty healthy way to go. It's still salad. Anyway, so we went to the grocery store. Salad in a bag was on sale, and I thought, oh, thank you, my angels, for bringing me salad in a bag. And then we went to the food truck and they had salad in a bag for free.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh.
Well, it was going a little bit, but that's why we'll be eating it pretty
Yes.
quickly.
Yes, that's why James is
Before
having
it goes.
the pumpkin Hallo-week leftovers with salad today. So that's
That pumpkin is still going, and that was about a week ago, wasn't it?
yeah.
A little over.
I have a beer fridge downstairs which I haven't defrosted, and so it's like the freezer part up top is almost like half the fridge, and so it's actually very cold in there. So, but pumpkin, I guess because of the hard skin, it seems to keep really well. Anyway,
Well,
so I don't know
you see people
how it
with
hasn't
pumpkins.
frozen in there, because it's right basically against the ice.
You see people with pumpkins on their steps.
Yeah.
I'll be talking about Alger Hiss and Whittaker Chambers and the spy microfilm hidden in the pumpkin.
Yeah.
And people are always, when I was a kid, no one hides. Yeah, you hide wherever people won't look, if you, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But this is an exculpatory of Alger Hiss, who I suspect was a spy for the Soviet Union.
But I'll probably freeze the rest of the pumpkin, because honestly, every day I look at it, I'm like, how in the world are you still okay? Because I mean,
that's
it's
the issue.
in the fridge,
The
right?
pumpkin was hidden, or the microfilm was hidden in the pumpkin in early November. Now I understand this in Maryland, where they've got a longer growing season there. And there was they had frosts in October, and of course they're really nifty because they don't say when in November it was and when in October it was. I want to know the exact dates, because I think it could have been a space of just a few days. You see what I'm saying? If it's October to November, it's when they don't give the exact date. I'm going, okay, guys, it was October 31st to November the 1st.
So
I
is
don't
it
trust you.
flavorful enough?
But
with
pumpkins can last a long time.
it's amazing how long the winter squash lasts.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I always thought, well, once you cut into it, you got to use it up quick, right? But apparently not.
So
This
here we
one's
are in
going like
November,
crazy.
Lethbridge, Alberta, latitude way higher than Maryland.
Well, it's in the beer fridge.
I
though.
know, but there are people with pumpkins on their steps right now,
True.
right?
Yeah. Oh, well, I went for a walk this morning, and there were flowers still blooming. Yeah, there were a couple yellow flowers down in the coulee, because I went down just a little ways into the coulee. It's just a bit of a walk from here. But anyway, when you happen to go early, then there's the traffic. There's no traffic downtown. Traffic doesn't start until around 9. So
On a weekend.
yeah. So on a Saturday. So anyway, I noticed a few flowers down in the coulee blooming, and then I came up and up near the Park Place Mall on the boulevard there were goat's beard in bloom, and I was like, that's amazing. So here we are, almost
What I find as
mid-November.
amazing as that is that goat's beard is considered a weed because it's got
It
such
is
a
quite
fancy
pretty.
flower.
Yeah. Anyway, so how is your salad, by the way, since you're already into it?
I can barely talk because I keep on stuffing my mouth with it, so it's awesome.
Good.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
good.
This might be the best use you've done with the pumpkins. So
He says that every time.
not every time. I mean, yesterday there weren't enough pumpkins on the salad.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I know.
And like if it had been, there'd been a little more variety with the peppers, it would have been even
And the
better.
cheese
But
and stuff.
so I'm not doing that. I did it 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out yesterday. It was great, but it wasn't better than the previous 3 days.
Yeah.
But
But now
this
the
one I
salad
think
is-
topped those
Yeah.
initial 3 that I was mentioning.
Yeah. All right, so Hitman. This was surprisingly great.
I saw
It
that
was
title. and I'm
very
going,
entertaining.
what's it doing on the top of the pile? I thought the bottom was just awful. But there we go.
This was I can't remember. I think I saw what's his name? Bateman. Oh dear. See, now that I'm looking, I can't find it. Jason Bateman, yeah, was one of the producers of this, and
Where do I know him from?
oh well, he's a great actor.
Okay. I just don't
You've
know
seen him
by
in a
name.
lot of things. So, and I imagine he made back some money from this, because they did a good job putting this together. The actors did a good job in this. I mean, it's kind of an interesting story, and you feel a little funny about it in the end, right? Because it's there's somebody that's talking. This man is a professor, and actually, this is somewhat based on a true story. Only, I mean, the guy obviously, the ending wouldn't have been the same in real life. But anyway, that makes this even more interesting, right? That this was a real character, a real person, and that they decided to write a story about. But anyway, so this guy, this professor, somebody else talking to him about how it's his ex-girlfriend actually is and she's also a smarty pants, you know, and she's telling him about how well personalities change. You can change, you know, if you be who you want to be, and then all of a sudden you find out you've become that or whatever. So this plays with that idea a little bit, and it really works. And at the end you feel a little bit uncomfortable about it because you really like the characters and whatever. And I'm not going to say any more about it because I'm going to give everything away, and it's definitely worth watching. Very entertaining, very well done. Acting was great. Just watch it. Grace and Frankie season 1. The acting's great in this too. I mean, you have Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Martin Sheen, and Sam Waterston, which
Movie quality.
Yeah, they are. So
the way movies used to.
So it's a great show. It's just not as great as Hitman was, but usually movies, I expect more from movies, right? But yeah, the series is great. I'm uncomfortable with women in their 70s
portraying 50-year-olds,
deciding that acting like they're 35-year-olds or something like that, and deciding, oh well, they need to have sex and all this sort of stuff and whatever.
Jane Fonda might be closer to him.
Well, she looks great. Everyone looks great in this, and honestly, I believe the relationship between the two husbands, to-be ex-husbands, whatever, in this, it's they did a great job. And honestly, watching them, I think they should be together in real life. They're so lovely together. But anyway, who knows? But one problem with this show is maybe I was getting food or doing something or whatever. Maybe I missed a part, but I don't understand why they're both in the beach house still. I just don't get it. So I mean, you have these two women that they really are not alike. And
no, who's the straight person?
Oh, Jane Fonda, for sure.
They got a really good picture in the front.
I know, and they have a very good team, a comedy team, the two of them. But it's great acting, great whatever. It's just there were a few things in there that I'm like, I don't know. I'd like to see, especially with these two women. They seem like empowered kind of women. Why not empowered enough to say, oh, after menopause, sex drive kaput, you know. And
Maybe they've taken Viagra or something.
I don't know, but why? Just find some other hobbies or something after. I don't know. Why do you need to act like you're in your 20s when you're 70? Or 35 when you're 70. It doesn't make any sense. Just whatever. But you
Sometimes
hear about
I
it
think
all
it's
the
more
time.
like teens.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it must be insecurity or something like that. But with these two women, they seem very confident. So I don't really buy the insecurity and I need to. But maybe you would feel that way if you'd been with somebody for 40 years and then found out that they were never really that into you, or whatever. And maybe you would feel a little bit like, whew, well, I gotta prove that somebody's into me or whatever. Maybe. So I don't know. Damn Yankees. So I had a hard time deciding which of these two musical movies should be on the bottom because honestly they're both bad.
That's too bad.
I know.
I thought Damn Yankees was classic. Right?
Yeah,
Never
especially
seen
when it has the song Whatever Lola Wants, Lola Gets. It's a great song. And there's one thing though, when she's singing that song, and she's supposed to be like the ultimate seductress, right? And she, for one thing, yeah, she has a hot body and everything, a little thin for my taste, whatever. But she looks too old for, and she's not as pretty as the young man that she's seducing, honestly.
Is she a baseball player or something?
Yeah. And when she's doing like her seductress dance, honestly, it looks like she's doing the Monster Mash. It's really not attractive a lot of the time. I don't know what they were thinking. Well, whoever was the choreographer for this, I know.
The choreographer.
Yeah, I know. But they really messed up.
I got to say about Hollywood, didn't have the greatest actors, but they had some good dancers and good all-round.
She was a great dancer. It's just, it was not her fault. Yeah, and the ending's a little silly, whatever. So I don't know if I would bother watching that.
I'd say that about Bollywood too. Nowadays.
Fancy Pants. So this one starred Bob Hope and Lucille Ball, and wow, Lucille Ball looked good in black and white, but in color, holy moly!
I'd never seen her in color before. I can remember she used to have a TV show I used to love when I was a kid, black and white, black and white, black and white. And I always knew she was good looking, but holy smokes!
I know. Yeah. And like James was saying, it's hard to believe that somebody that beautiful would end up being such a funny woman that people
tend not to laugh at good-looking people. Jane Fonda is an example. Although she could, first time I ever saw her, I didn't know who she was. I was just a kid. I would have been 13 years old. It was Cat Ballou, a comedy. She was funny in that. So she can play comedy, but it's harder for someone who's considered good-looking to get people to laugh at them.
And honestly, the actors, they did a good job. I don't believe, they don't really have great chemistry together somehow. And
I don't know if Bob Hope is a great comedic actor. I think he's a good stand-up kind of guy.
Maybe that's it. There was one joke that he made that I really liked. She'd kissed him on the cheek and he put his finger here and then he sucked on his finger. And it was great, right? So, but honestly, I
had a drama professor who thought Bob Hope was a really, really good comic. I think comic actor along with everything else. I was a little skeptical.
I don't know. It didn't work. The movie didn't work. It was worse when Bob Hope tried to do an accent than when he didn't.
Oh my God.
They shouldn't have.
I don't know if it was supposed to be Irish or English.
I don't know what. It was so bad.
It was bad.
Anyway,
Not his fault. It's the fault of the people who cast him. I
Yeah.
presume he did an audition.
Anyway, and he did a great job singing.
That shocked me.
Yeah, it
I'm
surprised
telling
me too.
you. Yeah, you better voice than Frank Sinatra, one of his contemporaries.
True, yeah. So anyway, you have 8 minutes 44 seconds to talk about cartoonists who changed the world.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so this is something that the Lethbridge Library used to hold. And they decided, I hope they got rid of it. Well, sometimes I end up with books that I bought used, not from the library, and then I get it home and I go, oh, it belonged to a library, like way up in, let's say the Yukon or something like that, and it never got withdrawn. So someone got hold of it and then sold it, I guess, and dumped it at a used bookstore. But, so this has pictorial biographies of some major comic book or comics writers, some of the comic strip writers and artists, more artists, I think. So it's called Masterful Marks or something like that, written by a guy called Monty Beauchamp, or Beauchamp, I don't know how they say it. In the United States, Beecham. Sometimes they mispronounce things significantly. I've seen works by most of these artists and writers. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. One of those guys was a Canadian. I always forget which one. I think it's Jerry Siegel. Came from Canada originally. And they created Superman way back maybe 1938 or something like that. And then they created him from pieces of krypton. Just kidding. Anyway, Jack Kirby, second there, co-creator of Captain America. I don't know who co-created that with, maybe Stan Lee. But Jack Kirby was a very creative, creator of characters and stuff like that. Not the greatest artist in the world. And he didn't have the linguistic flair of Stan Lee. I think they were better working together than working apart, particularly Jack Kirby. Stan Lee collaborated well with other artists, I should say. Charles Adams, or Chaz Adams, they've got here. I think it's Charles. Chaz is short for Charles. He's the creator of the Addams Family. So I haven't seen many of his cartoons. I saw the TV show way back in the day, in the 60s. I like that show, but I actually prefer the Munsters because the Addams Family was a little grown up for me. I couldn't watch it after age 13 because we moved down from Calgary where they had two channels. Yeah, TV only used to have two channels. That was in Calgary, but we moved down to Lethbridge, south of Lethbridge, and they only had one channel. At least they had TV. Anyway, Winsor McKay, animation and comic strip pioneer. I don't know if I've seen any of his work. Charles M. Schultz, creator of Peanuts, seen a lot of his work. It's quite a good biography. The artwork wasn't great, but it's kind of effective. Hergé, some of you people might say Hergé, creator of Tintin. Many of you people say Tintin. And Harvey Kurtzman, creator of Mad magazine. I used to like that magazine when I was a kid. Robert Crumb, underground comics pioneer. So he actually did the cover for Janis Joplin and the Holding Company, her first album. He worked a little bit below the belt, more than would impress me. Al Hirschfield, celebrated caricaturist. I don't know if I've seen any of his work. Hirschfield. Hergé. Hirschfield. I don't know. Anyway, Walt Disney, creator of Mickey Mouse. Originally, it was going to be called Mortimer Mouse. Not Walt Disney, but Mickey Mouse was going to be called Mortimer Mouse. I think his wife or someone like that said, hey, maybe you better change it. Then Lynd Kendall Ward, father of the graphic novel. I'll try not to hold that against him. The graphic novels just didn't work out the way I think people wanted them to. Rodolph Töpfer, or Topfer is probably how people mispronounce it. That kind of means potter in German. Created the first comic strips. Now that's, I don't know if I've seen any of his work, but that's quite an achievement. I think that dates back longer, maybe the 19th century. I forgot. Edward Gorey. So he wrote a lot of macabre children's books. I think he was buried in a pet cemetery. That was one of the stipulations of his will. And this is the only person I have questions about. Hugh Hefner, founder of Playboy. He apparently was, he made comics before he figured he could make more money doing Playboy. So he did comics. And then Osamu Tezuka, father of manga and anime, both of them. And I'll try not to hold that against him because I'm pretty sure it was pretty good when he did it, but it's generally been garbage. And then Dr. Seuss, celebrated creator of children's picture books. I used to love Dr. Seuss kind of stuff, kind of had so on and so forth. When I was a kid, and that wasn't his real name. Seuss actually means sweet in German. Dr. Sweet. Most doctors I've run across have been anything but. The best art, I think, was for Lynd Kendall Ward, done by who's the guy did it? Someone was saying that person was the best comic book drawer. Let me just see. Owen Smith and Monty Beauchamp. Story by Beauchamp, Beecham, and Owen Smith did the artwork. So Owen Smith did a great job with the pencil, and probably took him a lot of time. Some of the other ones, oh yeah, it was kind of personalized. What was it? The one for Robert Crumb. It's called Robert R. Crumb and Me by Drew Friedman. And he did a great job here. The funny thing is, it looks as though it was done in something like pencil, maybe mixed media or something like that, but did a very good job. Some of the other ones, not so good. I did like the story of Hergé. Hergé had problems with political correctness. I don't think they were his problems. Other people were visiting problems on him. I don't think he was a very political guy, but you go back and read the old 10-10 things, and I can see where people were into political correctness, would be very politically correcting when it comes to 10-10 things or tin stories. Let me see if I can. Most of the other artwork is kind of peripheral, but it's a pretty good thing. Then I've got, speaking of artwork, A Northern Christmas. And again, this was from a library, but I think a different library. Maybe this is from the Lethbridge Library. Yeah, Lethbridge Public Library. So it's a discard. It's just a short little excerpt from a bigger work that Rockwell Kent put out. I suspect Rockwell Kent's been long dead. The incidents leading up to Christmas